What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad Sean, and today at Reactions to the Classics we got a review of Arcade Fire and their record Funeral. This is one of the most acclaimed records that's been released in the 21st century here, and this suggestion comes courtesy of our patron and longtime supporter, our guy Tom.
Tom's the man.
Tom, really appreciate you bringing this one to us. This was a fantastic record, lived up to the hype, man. So I'm excited to dive into this, get into the quick facts and the track-by-track review. Before we do that, though, if you could do us a favor and hit that big thumbs up as well as that subscribe button, that'll help us out. And if you'd like to connect with our awesome community more, you can check out all our social media links down below. Got that Facebook group popping, Instagram, and we also drop a podcast every Friday, long-form deep dives into albums and bands. And if you'd like to be like our guy Tom, have us review a record for you, you can check out our Patreon link down below, man. But all that to say, Dad, let's get into the quick facts.
Well, let's do it, man. Debut studio album released in September of 2004 in the U.S. and Canada. Not until September of 2005 in the UK. One of the things that's said to have gotten this album into the mainstream, Pitchfork magazine gave it a 9.7 out of 10.
And that's when Pitchfork was a real, big dog in the music world. They still are, but whenever.
But yeah, it was a big deal then. The album did enter the Billboard 200 chart, a first for their record label, Merge Records. Nominated for a Grammy for Best Alternative Music Album. I know you're going to talk about some of its accolades, but according to Metacritic, the album had the second most appearances on end-of-decade top 10 lists, only behind Radiohead's Kid A. 151 on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. Largely recorded over a week at the Hotel to Tango in Montreal in August of 2003. But additional recording was done at the apartment of Regine and Wynn. It said it only cost about $10,000 total to record this album. I say $10,000 total when you barely have a record deal and you don't have any money. That's still a lot of money.
And Regine and Wynn, for those that don't know, they're the lead vocalist, kind of the head people of Arcade Fire here.
And they're married.
Yeah, exactly, man. It all comes together. I was curious because Wynn kind of grew up in the Woodlands, which isn't too far from where we're located, man. He's a big NBA fan, so I was already looking forward to some Arcade Fire, man. And one description of this record that I thought was pretty good is that it encapsulates love, loss, forced coming of age, fragile hope, and the group of Arcade Fire has kind of been said to put all these together and also set the sound of indie music in the 2000s. And knowing a decent amount of indie music from the past decade, and then hearing this record, you can definitely see a lot of stylistic influences from groups that came later, for sure. And you mentioned a little bit about the accolades here. This has appeared on numerous top list for the 2000s and top list of all time. It was in the top 10 of NME's top 100 greatest albums of the 2000s and number 13 on their list of 500 greatest records of all time. Pitchfork had it at number 2 on the top 200 records of the 2000s, and CBC Music put it at number 4 on the greatest Canadian albums of all time. So this is a heavy hitter. And last thing before we get to the track-by-track review, the album title Funeral comes from the fact that many of the band members were facing loss and death of loved ones, grandparents, stuff like that, and they thought, hey, that kind of fits the theme that we're going through, and that will take us now to the track by track.
Yeah, all tracks are written by Arcade Fire. There's 4 different neighborhood songs. We're going to go to Neighborhood 1, number 1. Tunnels, the first track. Getting back to Pitchfork again, it might be the last time we mention it, but they named this song number 10 on their top 500 tracks of the 2000s. It was the first single. This song I just found to be very powerful. The scene in a young man's parents weep in the next room. He secretly escapes to meet his girlfriend in the town square where they naively plan an adult future that in the haze of adolescence is barely comprehensible to them. Got a subtle guitar droning, just this atmosphere. I wrote, and I don't ever hardly write this, I wrote great song. Not just a great song, but a great song. So what'd you think of this one?
Oh, I thought this was a fantastic way to open the record. It deals with the theme of that forced coming of age that's going to pop up quite a bit. That transition from that childhood, less responsibilities, to having to face really what the world brings, I guess.
You can't wait to get there, and then once you get there, you're like, maybe not.
And having your eyes opened, and then I thought the ending crescendo where Wynn starts crying out, "Purify the colors, purify my mind, and spread the ashes of the colors over this heart of mine," was a beautiful and poetic way to end the track. And this really did, I think, get me primed and ready for the rest of the record, and excited to see what they were bringing forth next. And then that takes us now to track number 2 in the whole Neighborhood series, in parentheses, LAIKA, which, if you don't know, as I wasn't brushed up on my space history, LAIKA was the first dog to like orbit around in space there. She went up from the Soviet Union, and
no food.
She wasn't going to come back, so she was kind of sent on a mission for which she knew was doomed to fail. And here, that kind of has some parallels to our protagonist, Alexander, who kind of is a little bit, I think, troubled, but from the lyrics you can tell, but he sets out almost putting the neighborhood on his back, I think, in a sense. He doesn't have a great relationship with his dad. They mentioned there's always the police sirens going in the back and the neighborhood dancing, and his siblings are kind of in there saying, just noting the similarities between him and, you could have been like LAIKA, because at the end of the day, he didn't reach the heights I think that the neighborhood wanted him to, and he comes back, and it just kind of deals with that. Don't we all that have like these dreams and aspirations as a young person and whatnot, and then the real world comes, we might get screwed here, something goes wrong there, and then we realize, hey man, we might be right back where we started.
No, I think you summed it up perfectly. I don't really have a lot to add to it. It's the second single. Went to 30 in the UK. I mean, they're not charting really at this time. They're an unknown on a small label. They're just scratching to get to the forefront. I thought that the vocals were a little different. There's a little bit of vocal treatment on it, and the vocals were mixed a little deeper into it. There's more instrumentation.
Yeah, we had an accordion in here.
Yeah, you had
a catchy melodies,
more backing. So I liked that. That was a really good tune. That takes us to a song whose title is in French. I'll just give you the English translation. A Year Without Light. You can hear the urban clatter of Wynn's adopted hometown of Montreal. There's a decent amount in French in here. It's more chilled, good vocal. Instrumentally starts driving at the end, drums, guitar. So the more I listened to this song, the more I liked it. Just because, there's some stuff in French, but that's fine. Lately, we've listened to a lot of stuff in different languages and enjoy it. Music does translate.
I thought that the mixture of, the English and French was a cool touch here, based on the lyrics I looked at in the translations. I don't know if they're right, but I think at this point, all this time later, they should be close, but apparently the father is going through maybe some type of loss. He has those blinders on, and the son here needs to help kind of pull him out, help him see the light, essentially, which is what we all need whenever we're going, I think, through some dark times. And then that last minute had these manic guitars that really kind of aided into that feeling of confusion and just not knowing where to go. Didn't like it as much as the first two tracks. I didn't either,
but I mean, that's,
But it's still a good tune, man. And then that's going to return us back to the whole Neighborhood series. Neighborhood number 3, Power Out. And this was quite a big song for the people here at Arcade Fire.
Yeah, it was the third single, went to 26 in the UK, so getting a little traction in the UK as they released stuff. It won the 2006 Juno Award for Songwriter of the Year. The lyrics were inspired by the North American ice storm of 1998 in Montreal, which left the city in a blackout for over a week. There's a glockenspiel on here, Trey, which I enjoyed. The lyrics are mostly metaphorical and ambiguous, led to speculation as to what they convey. The lyrics are dark. Kids are dying out in the snow and have a theme of hopelessness, don't have any dreams, don't have any plans. Wynn acknowledges they use the outage as a basis to start from to talk about other stuff. So there are many ideas addressed in the song. But Wynn says that there's positive and negative here, Trey. It's over 5 minutes long. Instrumentation is really good. The drums and guitar, the vocals very powerful.
Oh yeah, and I think here's a good time to note they utilize the string arrangements a lot, have that orchestral type of sound, but they mix it with these very kind of pop-centric, catchy melodies, and it makes for a unique sound. Which
I was going to say unique.
Which it helps them stand out, because so often in kind of this indie type of genre, you get a lot of people that are cookie cutters of each other, and it's tough to stand out. But but I think that's why Arcade Fire is so beloved, is they are able to bring this unique sound with the powerful messages here. Here the kids or the neighbors think they found the light, and the kids want a piece of it too, but they come to realize that the adults and those in power are hoarding it, type of deal, and they're not gonna be fooled, man.
Yeah, nothing's changed, has it?
So I thought this was a fantastic tune as well, one of my favorites. And
yeah, mine as well. The next up is Neighborhood number 4, 7 Kettles, way stripped back. Golly, this is a beautiful song. Wynn just says it's about the passage of time, that people try to focus on a moment or sit there and reflect on time, but no matter what, that time is fleeting, man.
I enjoyed the concept and the subject, because it's something literally everybody can relate to.
That's what I thought.
We're all going against time, and I think Wynn is both, or he's very real in the sense that it's going to take time to change aspects of society we want to.
True.
It's not just going to be an overnight deal, but even so, I think we should strive to make positive changes in our society and whatnot. And I particularly enjoyed some of the final lyrics. It's not a lover I want no more, and it's not heaven I'm pining for, but there's some spirit I used to know that's been drowned out by the radio. And hey, here in 2020, man, a lot of our spirits are kind of drowned out by the media, the radio, and whatnot. So I think just being present and living in the moment is kind of a positive here. And then that's going to take us to Crown of Love, track number 6.
Yeah, and this one, I still really like it. It might be my least favorite so far. I don't know. It's hard, like when I say it might be one of my least favorite, it still is up there really high. It's a slow burning ballad, but then it eventually explodes into like a dance section. Basically, she doesn't love him anymore, and he just cannot get over it, Trey.
Oh yeah, he's definitely hung up on her, but there's a cool songwriting technique where he like introduces a question in a verse, and then in the chorus he says his mom came in and like snuffed it out or whatnot. So we think the person in the verses is Wynn here, but it's actually his ex who's just telling him like the spark isn't there type of stuff anymore. And then that last minute, it's like a upbeat string led dance type of thing you mentioned. So like you, it's not a favorite for me, but still has some cool tricks in there.
Well, the next track though, Wake Up, number 25 on NME's greatest songs of all time. So they're coming in hot on this one. It was a single. It's been in all kinds of TV and movies. Once I heard it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of recognize this. It's over 5.5 minutes long. The guitar's fantastic. The song itself is just fantastic.
Well, I was reading U2 back in the day used to kind of play this over the loudspeakers before their concert started. So,
well, that helps the band out.
Yeah, but when Bono's a fan of you, kind of push it out.
Push it out a little
bit. Yeah. And the theme kind of is, again, brought around this coming of age, this growing up, maturing, even when that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Regine comes in at the very end, which I thought was a nice subtle touch too. Very catchy, more upbeat compared to the last couple tracks. Were a little more mellow in a sense. So yeah, man, this one definitely kind of lived up to the hype for me.
Well, and speaking of Regine, we're going to come in with Haiti, where she sings about the homeland that her parents fled in the 1960s, and they fled from Haiti and went to Montreal, which you wouldn't normally think of. That's a long ways if you don't know your geography. It's a long trek. This one, the vocals were mixed deeper again on this one.
Well, this is the first one too where Regine kind of takes center.
And it's one of my least favorites. But once again, you're going to see by the end of this album that that's not a knock whatsoever. But you're going to have, like, if you had to rank them, something's got to be your least favorites, and this is another one that is, but it's still a really good track.
Well, and I think this did a good job of kind of having that exotic type of feel, which reflected, I think, the whole Haiti atmosphere. Lyrically, I thought was very socially conscious with talking about the government in Haiti and how just the stuff that goes on there, just going against that while also giving the people still there maybe some hope. So like you, not a favorite for me, but I still enjoyed it kind of for what it was.
Yeah, and that's going to take us to song number 9 already, Rebellion in parentheses Lies. This is another single, went to 19 in the UK. In 2009, it ranked 69 in Pitchfork's top 500 tracks of the 2000s. In 2009, NME also ranked the song as the 9th best of the 2000s. And this one's pretty complicated and complex, like lyrically and with meaning. Wynn did say in an interview that, 90% of every day we spend like fighting against messages that are pushed at us to get us to advertising or to act a certain way. And sooner or later we got to say, shut up, and push back in the rebellion. And that's all very true.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of the theme I got from this track as well, that you got to stand up for what you believe in and kind of who you are, even if society is telling you, hey, don't do that, do this. That's effectively brought forth through some of the backing vocals at the end where it's just lies. So I thought that was a cool touch. Had an anthem-like quality to it.
It did. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Another rocking arrangement that incorporated the strings very well. So this ended up being one of my favorites, man.
Mine as well. And now we're already, Trey, to the last track.
That's right. And this one, very heavy tune. We got In the Backseat. Regine kind of takes center stage here yet again. And
over 6 minutes long.
Yeah, and this ends on a very kind of somber note, I think, because Regine notes that she's been in the back seat for all her life, essentially, and then her mother passed away, and so she notes now that, I got to take the driver's wheel, even though it'd be better to be just chill in the back seat. I feel you, Regine, because
it kind of goes along a little bit with the arc of the first song, where it's like you can't wait for adolescence, you can't wait to get out into the world, but then you realize, kind of the same thing. Somebody else is making decisions for you, and maybe you don't want that, whether it's a parent or a spouse, and then they pass away, and all of a sudden now you got to do everything.
No, I think that's a great point, the way it almost bookends the record here, and you have these really anthemic like ohs and almost yells at the very end, which then just end the record out. So a powerful way to end this album out, and again, it had some realism in there, but it still had that hope that, hey, I can go through with this, even if this is going to suck and it's going to be hard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's going to transition us to our favorite tracks. I got Neighborhood 1, Neighborhood 4, Wake Up, and Rebellion.
Well, I got two of those. I got Wake Up, I got Rebellion, but I actually have the other two neighborhoods, man.
That's going to tell you the quality of this album,
I'm going Neighborhood 2 and 3. You could choose so many of the tracks on here and be good in your assumptions, man. And that'll take us now to our overall score of the record. For me, this hit pretty well because I'm kind of in that age group demographic where this is particularly, not that you aren't, but kind of
what you're saying. No, I mean, you're right. You're totally right.
With the themes of the coming of age, coming to grips with how the world truly works, in a sense. Again, really enjoyed the arrangements, lyrical content. The vocal style might not be for everybody, and I understand that, but the way this record has influenced the sound as the years have gone on is still felt, I think, to this day to some extent. So I thought this was fantastic, man. I'm going pretty high, one of my highest grades of the year that I've given. I'm going a 9 out of 10.
Man, I'll tell you what, lately we have been spot on in our ratings. I was hoping you weren't going to give it exactly what I gave it, but you did. I'm also going to 9.0, and one of the highest ratings. I was trying to think about, I don't know what else I've given this year. We review so much stuff, but I'm a much more difficult grader than I was at the start of this channel, for the plain fact that at the start of this channel we ran like the Beatles discography and some of the greatest albums of all time. So in comparison to that, these I think all the albums are properly rated, but I just don't give out nearly as many high scores after we've run through all these epic artist discographies. But this one is an exception to the rule. I listened to it several times, and it just resonates, man. Yeah. So 9.0, fantastic choice, Tom. Thank you so much for bringing it to us.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, Tom, and let us know what you think of Arcade Fire in general, and of course Funeral down in the comments below. I'm looking forward to rocking and rolling through the rest of their discography. I know they got a couple more very acclaimed records, so excited to do that, man. And as always, Dad, appreciate the research. A lot of
fun on this one.
And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see ya.